Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited sitting here, me and my co-host, Robert Bird, and our special guest that's here to talk about his career, talk about his life, is Nito Donaire, the Filipino Flash. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Man, this is beautiful, man. And there's no better people than both of you guys. Anytime, anywhere, man, I'm there with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, great. How's the family? Everybody's good?
Everybody's great, man. Just
Yeah.
blessed, man. Blessed to have healthy kids, healthy family, and a lot of opportunities in life. So, and I get to be here with you guys.
Yes. Yes.
And your brother?
My brother's good.
Good, good.
They again, the main thing for me is my kids, man.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own family,
Right.
and they're gonna do what they gotta do for their own
Right.
family,
Right.
But again, each day when I wake up, I'm just blessed to be alive,
Yes.
blessed to have the people around me.
Well, your cellmate, and I got to give a shout out to Rachel, your cellmate, because I know she's in there hanging tough with you with them boys.
Oh yeah, but she does crack the whip on me
She
though,
crack the
man.
whip on you, too.
On me, especially on me. I'm like, you're the oldest kid, okay? I'm like, yeah, I am the oldest kid.
Right, right, yeah,
But shout out to her. I mean, she's wonderful, beautiful, just a person that puts everybody together. I mean, how us guys, we're all over the place.
Yes.
But when it comes down to that, she is the one that just put things in order,
Mhm.
organized, and without her, I mean, everything will be
Yeah.
crumbling down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've watched her. I've watched her when he comes to the gym and he's working out.
Right.
And she's taskmaster.
Yeah.
She's taskmaster.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But she keeps him in good shape because that's one of the requisites of this business. It's
Yeah.
a tough business, and
Yes.
one of the things that can set you apart is preparation, and to have someone on your side who is committed to making certain that you are best prepared to do what you got to do
Yeah.
that's an asset.
I think
That's
for a family fighting family like ours, it's beautiful because I don't have to worry too much about what's happening, right? She's right there next to me. She knows exactly keep me in line, because sometimes I'm all over the place, And so for her, it's that push. It's not demanding, especially when I'm fighting. If she has something to say, she keep it
Yes.
quiet until
Yeah.
after the fight, and then
Yeah.
boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I like that we talked about earlier before we went on camera was in the house, part of your rules, and it was the same thing in my house with my three boys, is that they had to be involved in a sport. I didn't care what sport it was, but they had to be involved. And I for the most part, made that rule because 2 out of the 3 boys were looking to get into sports, and they were into sports. It was the youngest son that really didn't kind of go with sports and kind of didn't like it, but ultimately he started running track like his middle brother. And for you to say earlier that your sons, you got a regiment, you got them on a regiment already, that when they get up in the morning, they got to do certain physical exercises to stay in shape. And it's good to teach them that at a young age, when you look at how kids are growing up today with sitting at the computer, playing games and eating chips and swelling up inside. So, so I commend you on that.
I mean, it's a team effort between my wife and I. For us, we want their body to keep moving, right? Yeah, they're in front of the TV, computer, and all of that stuff. They're homeschooled. She takes care of all of that stuff, right?
Right.
So, but what we put on a schedule every morning is for them to walk at least 30 minutes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just to wake them up, and then they
Yes.
go to ice bath for about 3-5 minutes, right? Just to
Mhm.
get their mind going and ready for the day.
Yes.
And then in the afternoon, after everything else is done, then they go and train. You know, sometimes it's boxing, sometimes it's taekwondo. They're not so much into sports. I mean, my older one, he loves the sport, but he's not really into sports in terms of like being in the sport, right?
Right.
But he loves to play the, you know, but main thing that we maintain is getting them to exercise, to
Yes.
work out, to be
Yes.
disciplined, to do this and to do that, you know,
Right.
because that way now we're teaching them in the future when we're not there that, hey man, this is my responsibility to take care of my
Yes.
body.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. And the
Good.
thing about it is that for young children, but really for everybody, movement is medicine.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're moving, the body is meant to do that. Movement is medicine, and so anything that we can do to keep us moving forward is a positive.
I mean, anything really, anything that is stagnant rots. You know, you put the water in the pond and the pond is not moving. Guess what? You got all this stuff coming in, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's not moving. You know, same thing with our brain. Same thing, you know, in our body. Everything that we don't utilize starts to diminish. You know, degrade.
Yes.
You know, and that's why we always got to move, man. Whether it's walking.
That's
I'm
right.
glad you said that, because we're involved in a sport that has to continue to evolve. Like you said, if you just sits there, it gets stagnant. It has to evolve, and it has over the course of years.
Yeah.
We've moved from you know, being able to stand over somebody after you knock them down to the guy to stand an 8 count. We moved from 15 rounds to 12 rounds. But there's something out there on the horizon that I think may very well change the whole landscape of boxing. And that's this marriage between Dana White of the UFC and the Sheikh, and what they're proposing, the Fight League. What they want to do, as I understand it, is go to the original 8 divisions of champions. There'd be only one champion. That's it. That, to me, is going to not mesh well with, number one, the sanctioning bodies, and number two, there are people out there who simply cannot make a particular weight, and that's why they came up with the junior weights and things like that. Tell me your views.
Well, for me, it definitely is going to change a big landscape, especially what they propose in changing the Ali Act, right? To me, that was something that will allow people to see, fighters to see what's going on, you know, to have an idea of how things are working.
Right.
So to change a little bit of here, I'm not too familiar with it, except for the data that I always ask my promoter for, you know, so that way for the next fight we have a negotiation to however the last fight went, right? So, but with all of this changes and the fees and all that stuff, it does help. It has its own, you know, good things and bad things. But if for me as a fighter, I'd like a one champion, right? Because I want to prove it to myself. You know, that's why I always reach to be the undisputed, this and that. I've always done that, right? As a fighter, I want to be the best. You know, that's a good concept. This is great, you know, but throughout the whole year now, throughout the whole career of at least my career and all the other fighters, they have garnered relationship with sanctionings and all of that stuff. So there is a lot of I would say pushback, opinions, you know, but the thing sometimes in this world, money is the driving factor to put people, unless they start to understand or see that there might not be a choice, you know. I mean, I don't know what the whole rules and ideas of what they have, but if it's similar to the UFC where the growth is not exponential, the growth is not how you are, like say with the Ali Act, you know what, hey man, you made 50 million in revenue with the last fight, you know what, we paid you 500,000. You know what? We could bump it up because now you have all this data, right? You have this understanding of how big you are. You know, then you are not capped to what the rules are, like say the UFC.
Right.
And so you're able to get to a level where, hey man, you know, this is how much I made. I sold out, and I put millions of pay-per-view buys out there. At least I deserve it. And to me, I love that idea because it gives a negotiation for the fighters of what they are deserving, rather than, hey man, you're gonna get paid $1 million, which is a lot. You know, I'm blessed.
Right.
You know, but then it just gives a different outcome, or a different I guess different. I mean, again, I don't know enough to understand the rules of what they're trying to do. But if you are taking that part away as a fighter, that's what we work hard for. It's the choice to become bigger.
Yeah. Very, very well said. And speaking of your value as to how you feel, what they're telling you what you're making as opposed to what you feel you should be making. When we go back into to your career, you had a fantastic career, total fights, if my numbers are right, 51 total fights, 43 wins, 28 by knockout, only 8 losses. And Nonito, in the 9 world titles that you had, that existed over the 4 major organizations, the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO. Tell me what that was like for you during that time period.
I'm still doing it, man.
You're still doing it.
You know, I'm the current WBA interim champion right now. But how it is and how it was from the very beginning, 2007, when I fought my first title against Victor Arcinian, that was unforgettable. You know,
Yeah, it was.
You know, every title is unforgettable, but that one is something that just you can't forget your first time.
You can't forget the first.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I'm just blessed, man, because I've always been the type of person. I'm an old school throwback type of fighter where I fight anybody.
Yeah.
You know, whoever comes in that ring, or who wants to, you know, who's the next guy in line, or that title, that I've always been that guy.
Right.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I was blessed with that opportunity, and of course I got a lot of great guys around me helping me out, you know. So, you know, that right there is this is why I'm still doing it, is because I love what I do, and I'm doing it now for fun, not for anything else. I've done what I've done already.
Right.
I've achieved what a lot of people can't, or have not, or could never ever be able to do. And so for me now, I'm just having a good time. You know, I don't know how long I'll be able to fight. You know, with how I treat my body, how I treat my mind, and how I train. And like you said, constantly evolving, right?
Yeah.
Constantly evolving. And this is why we're having this conversation, because boxing needs to evolve. You know, there's a good thing with TKO and what they do, especially for the early starter. You know, I remember back in the days, I was getting paid $100 a round. To us, it was like, okay, cool, that was the minimum, but hey, it was a fight. You know, when I fought in the Philippines, I think I got paid like 60 for 4 rounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
So stuff like that, you know, but it gives them a category of where to start. You know, and it's a lot more than any club shows or anything like that, right? Because they put that level of respect to upcomers.
Right.
But then maybe perhaps in the future it can be negotiated that it can go more. You know, that it can be negotiated in ways. Then if that's the case, then that's good for boxing.
Yeah. Well, the bantamweight division, where you won your first world title, and you dominated the bantamweight division, winning the title 3 times, was it? Or
yes.
Tell me.
Actually, I my first title was in the flyweight, and then
flyweight?
Flyweight, super flyweight, bantamweight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I say 5 division because in the super flyweight I had the interim, but nobody wanted to fight me. Right. So I moved up in weight and up to the featherweight, and I came back down.
Okay.
You know, but the where I'm dominating is the bantamweight. I'm still at the bantamweight right now, and I've
Bantamweight, right.
won it 3 times for the
3 times.
WBC,
That's what I
you
thought.
know,
Yeah.
and 2 times for the WBA.
Right.
So I'm the oldest world champion in the
You,
bantamweight.
yes, you are. You're the oldest.
All right.
Exactly.
I will continue to beat that record.
Yes, you are. Well, when you were in the Philippines, describe the difference between when you fought in the Philippines as opposed to when you fought here in the States.
Well, the Philippines, it was just more of like, you know, it was way back in the days, and then so it was a big transformation because I did it when I was 4 rounder and I did it as a world champion,
Okay.
right? So when I did it as 4 rounder, it was the least that they could give me, right?
Right.
You know, and it was just one of those fights that they were able to kind of put together, and they had a lot of guys in my weight at that time,
Right.
you know, back in 2001, and then when I fought back as a world champion, as a known fighter, there was so many people. They loved me out there, you know, and just the treatment was different. But that's what anywhere really in the United States is the same thing. A 4 rounder, unless you are a 4 rounder that's an Olympian, or you have they see you as someone who's gonna make it to the top, then there's that respect. But
Right. Yeah.
I lost my second fight, you know,
Okay.
so I was the stepping stone, but then they weren't stepping on me. I was stepping on everybody they put in front of me after that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. So, but overall, I believe that it's the same treatment, you know, when you're world champion to the beginners without a background.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about your feelings on the state of women boxing. A few weeks ago, there was an all-women's card in New York City, and from all indications, it was quite a success.
Yes.
Prior to that, about a month before that, there was an all-women's card at the O2 Arena in Europe. Again, extremely successful. What's your take on the state of women boxing today?
I mean, that's something you got to give a big credit to MVP and Jake Paul. You know, again, going back into the evolution of boxing. You know, he started off as a YouTuber, you know, and then he brought in a lot of people. You know, people can say a lot of stuff about him, but he's taken it to the next level that no other promoters have done, especially for women boxing. Women are getting paid more than a lot of men now, you know, and they're making fight exciting. They're changing the landscape of women, and now people are watching women. I mean, they will sell everything out, you know, more than any other fight, unless it's a huge fight. But women boxing has come to the golden era of exciting boxing, and they're getting paid, and you know, they're doing what they want to become. You know, I remember back in the days when Lucia Riker, Christy Martin, and all of them, you know, and they weren't getting paid, and they were the biggest fighter back in the days.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't like how the men or how the women are now.
Right.
You know, but they did pave the way to these women to be here. But again, of course, the catalyst of it is Jake Paul creating all of it and giving them importance. So, you know, again, the evolution of boxing and women boxing and putting everything together, we have to roll with the punches. You know, sometimes back in a couple years ago when Jake Paul came in, it was like, oh, just a social media YouTuber guy. You know, now they got exhibition fights everywhere. You know, and the thing too is that now you see all of this. We have to grow along. Because if you look at all the stores in the malls, all of them are closing. You know, they're online stuff because they weren't able to go along the time, right? So you know, for an older mindset, it's like you want to keep everything together the same way. But then sometimes life, like you said, movement. Without movement, you know, it either goes away. You know, and you've seen a lot of stores go away. You know, Jake Paul and in the Saudi Arabia Riyadh season and all of that stuff, it's a change in the landscape
Yes.
of boxing, and boxing is going to be so different
Yeah.
within a year, 5 years to 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they when with women boxing, what are your feelings in regards to women only fighting 2-minute rounds as opposed to fighting 3-minute rounds?
Well, what I like to state as a fighter is, you know, when other women love to be able to fight 3 minutes, and I think they should have the right to do so. You know,
it's a big issue.
yeah,
Big issue.
and that's the thing is that we have come to a point that it needs to evolve in ways that, hey, women, I mean, why is it different that women in the amateurs are fighting 3 minutes before, right? You know, even before, and then there's a lot of changes and all of that stuff, and you know, for me, I believe that women should have the choice to fight 3 minutes, and if they want to be at 2 minutes, they can be at 2 minutes. I think guys should be just doing the same thing, because some guys don't do nothing in the 3 minutes, man. I'm yawning all the time, right? I'm like, yo, you guys gotta fight 2 minutes, or you know, and make it exciting. You know what I'm saying?
So there's a move out there for that.
Yeah.
That men fighting 2-minute rounds because you get more action, like the women, but
I mean, there is always that. You know what I mean?
My thinking is, then could it be negotiated in the contract if you want to fight 2 minutes
that's
or 3 minutes?
something that's something that I believe should be done, and should be able to be allowed, you know, for women to, hey man, you know, I want to do just 3 minutes. I want to do 3 minutes.
it's
right?
done. It's been done.
Right, of course,
Yeah.
you know, with Serrano, you know, Amanda Serrano has done it. You know, she's done, and she doesn't want to go back. You know, she wanted to fight Katie at 3 minutes, but Katie didn't want.
Local here, Layla McCarter. She did the first 3-minute championship fight right at Orleans.
Wow.
New Orleans. So it's been done.
Right.
You know, but the WBC's opposition to it, and they're the major one, is that it's for safety.
Yes.
And I'm saying, I don't know how that equates. If it's already been done, how's it a safety issue?
Right.
You know? But I think ultimately it really comes down to what you've already talked about. It all comes down to this.
Yeah.
It comes down to money. Women are not going to get paid the same as men, although most women fights are very exciting.
Yes.
You know? And they attribute that to the fact that it's only 2 minutes and you really got to fight.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, again, you know, the WBC, and maybe perhaps they have to do another test to give these women an opportunity to fight for 3 minutes. You know, why don't you do another test if the older tests were this, but then we've come up to a point where the women are now fighting and they want to fight at 3 minutes. You know, is a safety protocol, because look, back in the days when you're 30, you're old already. Now I'm 42, right? I'm still fighting. I feel good. Right. We have the technology now. We have the knowledge now. Right. We have the supplements and everything, right? So why don't we change something and do another test and allow these ideas to come to fruition according to the test?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to move on, and my next question, Nonito, is: there was a time when you retired and turned photographer.
I never retired. I still do it.
But so you never officially retired?
I've never officially retired. Never, ever even came out there to say I'm done. Right. Or, you know, I've always said, hey, you know, I'm gonna take some time off. Okay. You know, and then I'm gonna look for a fight. Within about a year, I was like, I want to look for a fight. So it was always like that, you know. Right. But photography is part of me, you know.
So you enjoyed it.
I love it. I love it. So that's part of my alter ego, right? As a fighter, I'm a destroyer. Right. I'm a conqueror. Right. As a photographer, I'm an artist. I see things beautifully. Yeah. You know, I look at things differently. You know, so it's just like for every athlete, even back in the days, for every fighter and warrior, they always have something that allows them to kind of step back
Yeah.
and be a different person.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I am who I am with my kids and with my wife, and I am who I am inside the ring. So I am able to do all of that
Mhm.
because of the artistic side of me, that I'm
Right.
able to switch my mindset from being an artist to a fighter.
Yeah. Super.
But I love it, man.
Super.
There'll be a lot more. Actually, there's a lot more photos. I've had you in the background. Actually, I don't know who it was, but
Yeah.
I think it might have been the Marquez
Bradley?
Bradley.
Yep.
I got the photo. I got
Yeah.
the photo. I got the photo. I got you.
Yeah.
You know.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I got one of those photos. I still take a lot of photos. You know, I love that part of me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and again, life, when you get older, you just want to have the best time
Mhm.
each
That's right.
day. You know, like
Okay.
again, tomorrow's never promised. All we got is today, and that's all we got to do is live today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we can't let you go without getting your Mount Rushmore of fighters.
Man, listen, my Mount Rushmore from here to all the way over there, like
But you only get 4.
I'm evolving Mount Rushmore, okay? We're putting a lot of people in there. I mean, man, there's just so many people, man. To me, Sugar Ray Robinson was one of the guys
Oh,
that
great.
really
Exactly.
Yeah.
was the beginner,
Yes.
of how boxing was. It
Yes.
wasn't just fighting.
Yes.
He made it. He changed it into something different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
man, there's so many. I mean, you got the 4 kings. You know, I'll just put their head in one head, or 4 heads. You know?
Exactly.
You know, they're incredible. So,
We got Robinson.
man, wait, come on, man.
You got 3 more.
That's the way he is.
You got 3 more.
Nonito, he did me the same way.
You got 3 more.
I tried to get him to break it down the weight classes.
Right.
He won't even do that.
Look, oh man, God.
Well, your fellow countryman has got to be up there for you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Pacquiao.
Well, there you go. See, now you're down to 2. I'm helping
Hey,
you out.
yeah, he's helping me out. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on. You know what, man? It's very hard, but I know Sugar Ray Robinson is one of my one.
Absolutely.
You know, number 2, I'm not putting Pacquiao yet. You
Mhm.
know, until I get, because with me is he's accomplished beyond anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at who has inspired me in my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
You know,
There you go.
Robinson, Ali.
Well, there you go. Whoa, we
You
down
know.
to 1.
You know, and then of course Pacquiao, and one of the guys that really got me to at his best, at his prime, he was unstoppable. You know, and one of the guys that inspired me growing up, you know, was Roy Jones.
Yeah.
You know, Roy to me was the most skillful fighter I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, Pacquiao is the most decorated fighter
Yeah.
who put that gloves in.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali was a fighter that changed the landscape of boxing and how he was outside of the ring.
Yeah.
You know, he was great inside the ring, but outside the ring, he was even greater.
Yeah.
And of course, the beginning of all boxing,
Yeah.
and the style of boxing from Sugar Robinson.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, man.
I knew you could do it.
Yeah, you got me,
I
man.
knew you could do
It's
it.
tough. I have so many in my head, you know. There's so many people I love, you know. So many people that I was a big fan of.
Yeah.
You know, but these are the guys that inspired me to be a better fighter, that I really look up to, that inspired me to train harder, you know, that I learned a lot from. So, and you know, again, all of these had their own persona, because Sugar Robinson for me was a fighter that changed everything for me, right?
Yeah.
And how to be smart, how to create things.
Yeah.
And then Ali was the person that I wanted to become inspirational. You know, I want to help people. Even till this day, I still look at the kids. I still, give inspirational stuff because I was inspired by Ali in the way he lived his life, and then of course Pacquiao was a guy who opened a door for me, and accomplished a lot of stuff. And then of course Roy for me was my favorite growing up.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Nonito, decorated fighters being Manny Pacquiao. You got a few decorations yourself. Two-time winner of the Rings Knockout of the Year award in 2007 and 2011. Also the Fighter of the Year by the Boxing Writers Association of America in 2012. And also, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you have won world titles in 3 different decades.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm about to make it 4.
You about to make it 4? I say it early. You about to make it 4?
I'm about to make it 4. Why not? The beauty about life is to continuously grow, right?
Sir.
And the moment that I stop loving what I do, then I'm done and hanging up the gloves without any question. But I love being in there. I love sparring all these young guys. I love constantly evolving my mind, my body, my spirit, inside that ring. And this is why I help people the best that I can to lead them the right way, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't get any help from anybody else.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I think this pretty much wraps it up, Bird. Unless you got some more fire to throw at the champ. You got some more fire to throw at the champ.
No, I might tiptoe out to the gym, work a few of his sparring matches. and
just make sure you don't get hit by it.
I'm just start boxing and start going around his back. I'm like, looking around.
He does that. Yeah. But it's great because it keeps me on my toes as a referee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, you're gonna start calling him Twinkle Toe one of these days. Got it going.
No, listen. It's been marvelously wonderful to have you on board here. You are a credit to the game, which is very special to me, because for me, my priorities have always been the game itself, because without it, who needs anybody? The fighters, that's my number 2 priority, because without them, who needs anything else? And then you get down to us. But as long as I can keep that priority in my mind, the game, the fighters, then it'll all come together, and it's all worth it. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you. And one thing for me, how you doing? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
One thing for me though is a great referee is a necessity in the boxing world, and this is why I give the biggest respect to the referees. Because inside that ring, you guys have our lives.
Yes.
Inside that ring, you allow us to fight.
Yeah.
For the way we train.
Yeah.
And sometimes some referees aren't.
Yeah.
So I truly appreciate the referee and what they do for the fighter.
Yeah.
Don't count yourself short, man, because you guys are incredible. Without you guys, there will be no fair fight.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why both Kenny and I, and I'm in that gym working sparring matches because.
And he's coming back.
Because you guys deserve it. You deserve the best of us, and the only way that we can be the best is to practice the way we play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to be the best we can be, so that we can be there for you when it's necessary, because you're absolutely right. We do have, every time we step through that rope, 2 lives in our hands, and the livelihood in our hands, but first and foremost, obviously, life.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And like Bert said, we want to thank you for coming at such short notice, and it was short notice. We just talked Saturday at the Soul Orbiter seminar. Yeah. So we thank you for that, and also we would like you to give the official call a shout out before we close.
Oh, 100%, man. The official call, man. The best information you'll ever get when it comes down to referee and how and why the referee work the way they do. Official call got it for you, man. So you guys stay tuned every single time, because you will be informed. That was great.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was great.